Welcome to the Beauty Moves podcast. I am your host, Coyetta Tamara, and your guide on this transformative journey. This podcast is your ultimate destination for inspiration, actionable strategies, and real talk conversations about building a successful business while becoming the best version of yourself. We'll dive into topics that empower you to elevate your skills, grow your brand, and navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship with confidence. You will hear from industry experts, learn the secrets behind thriving businesses, and discover the mindset shifts that will set you apart in a competitive world. So whether you're starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you're in the right place. Together, let's take bold action and make your vision a reality. Let's make beauty moves.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Beauty Moves podcast. We are back with another episode, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about something subtle but powerful, and that is all about patterns running your mind, even when you don't notice. So our life is full of patterns, and once you slow down to see that, you will notice that even your life repeats in patterns. Some may have a 5-year cycle, 2-year cycle. Like there are loops, there are cycles and behaviors that feel normal because we've lived with them for so long. So sometimes it's easy to slip away from us because it's just how we've been living. And your brain has 5 default patterns. That's based on my experience. Okay, that keep you from moving forward. And I'm not naming them today. That's tucked inside the book, which is why I want you to get that book. But I will say that each pattern feels familiar, almost comfortable. They show up when you're tired, when you're overwhelmed, or stepping into something new, right? Sometimes chaos is comfortable. Sometimes a state of disrepair is our default emotion because it's it's a state that we've existed in for so long. So we don't know how to change that. It just becomes comfortable like a blanket, right? So these patterns could look like being busy but not progressing. Ever working your business or in wherever you are, the office, and you're doing stuff but you're not really moving the needle? Yeah. It could also look like losing clarity when opportunities appear. So something comes up and all of a sudden you feel blank, you feel unprepared. It could also look like shrinking yourself to stay safe, and that happens all the time. You don't want to get too big because then you have to be evaluated, looked at, spotlighted, highlighted. And so it feels safer to retreat inside of yourself. The other one is cycling in and out of motivation. I see this all the time. In fact, I see all these patterns in my coaching program, my strategy session with my clients. And this is also another way I was able to identify what was going on in my own life. And it helped me to also develop this book. The other one could be shutting down when things get heavy. So I can relate to this. I'm sure you guys can all relate to this as well. When things feel heavy and out of control, you want to step back. You want to retreat inside of yourself. And it's completely understandable because we are human. So what happens is you start strong, right? You come in with your energy, you come in with the best of intentions, you're gung-ho. And then something happens internally. And then suddenly you're distracted, you're overwhelmed, you're disconnected, or doubting yourself again. That's a pattern, right? And these patterns shape your business more than your strategy. Patterns in your life are what shapes your business more than your strategy. Right? I was on Instagram this week, and so interesting that there was another major creator that I follow who was also on this podcast, Coach Kelly J, and she's talking about the same stuff. So looking at this book and what I'm talking about now, I realized that there is confirmation in this There is relevancy in this because people are feeling it out there. A lot of what I'm feeling like there's an internal and external struggle, and as I said, confirmation for what I'm feeling, what I'm observing. So that was good to see. So yeah, these patterns shape your business more than your strategy. They determine how you price, right? They determine how you market, how you create content, how you launch, how confidently you lead, how you show up in the world, how you show up with your family, how you exist in your space, and how it really comes up in how you treat others as well. So it's not necessarily that you're inconsistent. It could be that your brain is running on old programming, old code, right? It could be that your life is trying to, what's the word? Like exercise the old code, right? It's trying to get that old programming out of your body. And God will always reveal the pattern before He elevates you. And I feel like I've been in this stage where it's all revelation, revelation, because my life is changing. My code is changing, my pattern, my thoughts, my feelings, the way I express myself, the way I move, right? And awareness is spiritual. Interrupting the pattern is deliverance. It is divine deliverance, and we all need that. Our patterns need to be interrupted. Our old way of thinking needs to be interrupted. Even the way we heal. Sometimes the way we heal, it's not necessarily a good way, right? There can be some destructive patterns that we use to pacify ourselves. And we think, yeah, I feel better. But in actuality, you may feel better, but are you healed? That's a different question. So we have to break that pattern of unhealthy healing processes to discover, the right way of breaking the pattern and allowing yourself to heal properly. And that's also something I had to go through, breaking the way I healed and what it looked like and what it felt like and the type of things I would say to myself, the type of things I would say to myself, the type of things I would say to others. And I found as well that I was constantly pressing to help other people and disregarding my own feelings and thoughts. And that didn't really help the situation. Naturally, I'm a helper. Like if I come to your house, and I've said this before, like I'm going to be asking you, how can I help? I may get on your barbecue. I may end up serving food. That's just my natural disposition. I cannot help that. Right. And I like that about myself. However, sometimes that is
This episode of Beauty Moves Podcast is brought to you by Zensurance because building your dream business is exciting, but protecting it is essential. Whether you're a stylist, salon owner, content creator, or service-based boss, Zensurance offers business insurance quotes that fits your unique needs. They make it simple, affordable, and stress-free to get protected so you can scale without fear. Click the link in the show notes to get your free quotes in minutes. That's Zensurance, insurance designed for business owners like us. Hey friend, if you've been holding a lot lately, Beauty and Beyond Chats is for you. It's where we talk about real stuff that's faith, mental health, and staying grounded while chasing our purpose. We're gathering soon, and there's a seat waiting for you. Tap the link in the show notes to join.
a crutch for me when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed or broken, that I had to learn to manage in a healthy way. What I also found for me is that I'm just trying to think about, there was a big discovery that I had. I found that my pattern was one of my patterns was to work from the area of like, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this. You know, the strong woman, the prove yourself pattern. You know, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this. And that's not healthy either, because that's not the right energy. That's not leading from God energy, right? That sounds more like fear, anger, hurt. And mind you, I got very far on that type of thought process. I moved mountains on that type of thought process. And so interesting that going through this process, I think to myself, well, how much more can I do without that, with, God's leading and with this new direction that life is going, that business is going in. Okay. So I want you to really evaluate the patterns that are going on in your life and pause and ask yourself, because we all have our own stage. It may be great, it may be small. And I want you to realize this before it does get larger, because when I hit my wall, my mental, emotional breakdown, it was hard. It was unexpected. I couldn't walk through any more hurt, and I couldn't repeat that again in my life. I didn't want to. It just had to end at that time. So I really slowed down, because that's what God wanted me to do, and really work through that situation. So for your own situation, I want you to pause and ask yourself, where do you always end up no matter how hard you try to change? Where do you always end up no matter how hard you try to change? Because that's where the pattern is hiding. That's where the repetition is. That's where the old programming, the old code, the old way of being, the comfort in the dysfunction lies. It's in that space. And I promise you, once you start looking into this and taking time to figure it out, you're going to work through all of that. Right? So, in my new book, Brain Interrupted, I break down these patterns clearly and show you exactly how to interrupt them. So I have my, you know, everything that I write there about the pattern, what it looks like. I give you some scriptural backers as well. And there is a little section there where you can, I give you like a mini workbook to help you work through each section, what to do to help you move through. So it's not something that leaves you, like gives you the problem but doesn't give you a solution. No, the solution is there, right? And if you're ready to stop circling the same mountain, I know I was done. You heard me? I was done with circling the mountain. And right now I'm still working through all of the things, because there's a journey. Once you get to the next level, and this is something that I always say, there's something else. There's something else that you need to overcome, to fix, to heal, to observe, there's a pattern that you need to examine and correct, right? Especially if you have no blueprint for what you want, for who you're becoming. Then yeah, there's a level of there's an examination, a processing, and reflection that needs to take place on all of it, because you ain't never been there before. You have no marker, no blueprint, no guide to get you there. I mean, right now, something as like perimenopause for me, I'm trying to, this is not necessarily related, but it's just an example of, like, no one told me about that. So I have no marker nor blueprint on what that looks like in my body and what that looks like emotionally, mentally. Like, I'm going through this now, or at least I think that's what it is. Girl, y'all, I don't know just yet what it is, but I've been having hot flashes, like a few things. But again, the point is, no one taught me, no one showed me, no one had I didn't get a book on like these things happening. So I've had to ask questions. I've been going to the doctor. I've been, doing my own research and just trying to figure out what it all means. Because I know as I am going through this, I'm going to look back at my daughter and daughters and give them the information that I was lacking. And so that's what your introspection with is going to provide. It's going to provide you a template for the next generation so that they don't have to suffer the way you did. Because I know even with healing and even with all these patterns, no one taught me how to fix them. No one taught me how to even look and address them. So yeah, this is work and this is a journey that we have to go through. But once we get there, we're going to be in a much better position, and it's going to open up the way we function and move in life and in business, because it affects every part of who we are and what we do. And as I said, when I'm coaching, I see all of these things that really have nothing to do with business. It's just codes, old codes, thought processes, um, things that don't really have to do with the now, programming that are affecting how we move and exist. So I want you to pre-order the book, and I would love to hear what you think, hear your thoughts and opinions about it. So again, the book is called Brain Interrupted: Outsmarting the Five Mental Traps Holding You Back. Okay, so this has been another great episode. Look out for more. I'm going to be talking more about this because I think it's needed. I see evidence of this. I feel the evidence of this. And quite frankly, y'all, this is something I need for myself. I've always focused on the emotional side of business because I think a lot of things happen there and we try to ignore them. And we know we put on our superwoman hat, but what about the rest of it? And it shows up in your business anyway, right? So pre-order the book. Use the link in the show notes to do that, and stay tuned for the next episode. Remember to share this with a friend as well, okay? All right, until next time. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Beauty Moves podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, as this helps improve my ranking. Take care. Until next time.